This is the new Jaecoo J5 BEV. As you guys can see down here on the front bumper, it says BEV battery electric. This is a very exciting electric car that is currently on sale in the UK, and I think that is the only place in Europe at least, or maybe even outside of China, where this is on sale. But hopefully this is going to come to more European countries next year and in the years coming. Jaecoo is a sub-brand of the Chinese auto manufacturer called Chery, and they have huge ambitions of bringing more brands and models to Europe. And this, the Jaecoo J5, is basically a mini Range Rover on the exterior. It is a very cool looking, upright, squarish electric SUV, and in today's video I'm going to give you guys a full review of this to see if you should wait spending your 27,500 pounds or about 32,000 euros on another electric car, or if you should wait for this to come to your country. It is very clear what the inspiration for the J5 has been. Some would even say it's a little too on the nose. And I think it is very bold for Jaecoo to choose the UK as their European launch market. But with all that being said, Jaecoo have actually beat Land Rover at their own game, launching a stylish and affordable EV to their home market. The J5 is actually smaller than it looks, and my god, does it look good. I really like the proportions, the lines, the details, the front, the profile, and the rear. There's not a single thing about the way this looks I don't like. Okay, I am a huge Range Rover fan, which may explain my bias here, but come on, is there a better looking SUV, yet alone a better looking car at this price point? Because I can't think of one, so let me know in the comment section down below if there is. So first impressions is that this is a very simple and minimalistic interior, and where Chinese cars the past few years have really shown, you know, their upper ace being quality, high quality interiors, nice materials. This is a little bit on the cheaper side, but this is a very cheap vehicle. I mean, it's not nasty, but you do have, you know, a lot of hard touch plastics, more so than in a lot of Chinese cars. And also, you know, these soft materials aren't the nicest when it comes to textures, but at this price point, it is perfectly fine. And also because this is more of an upright SUV, you do step into the car instead of down into it, so it's not, you know, your typical fake SUV crossover. This feels like a proper SUV when you're sitting behind the wheel. And also, you know, you have that flat hood in front of you, giving you, you know, more of a commanding driving position. Very simple in the interior, and I'm pretty surprised to see glossy black plastics here because it does cheapen the look of the interior, though I do like the integration of, you know, the screen here, the steering wheel also with graphics here, glossy black finishes, and also touch capacitive buttons. Not my favorite. I haven't gotten to drive this car yet, so I'm not sure how they are in function. Over here on the door you have physical window switches. You also have physical mirror switches, which is top marks, and also the steering wheel here is adjustable manually. You don't have to go into a menu. I am missing a volume knob here, though there are volume buttons here on the steering wheel. You have a normal stock here, and then you have your gear selector there. And also the seating position, pretty nice and upright. A lot of adjustability here. I do, you know, feel like yeah, I can even, there's a little bit more reach in the steering wheel. So like seating position, drive position, traditional SUV, but you know, the ambiance here is a little bit cheaper when it comes to the materials and the fit and finish and the feel. But when it comes to the space, yeah, I'm not complaining. For some reason, it's hard for the Chinese to give us clean cars when we are here in China. The backseat of this car is so dirty, and I really don't understand, because they've flown us halfway across the world to look at their cars, to test their cars, and for me to make videos. I mean, that's why they're flying me here, and they can't even give me a clean car. So that is a bit disappointing, and if the car's dirty, it's not on me, it's on them, because I even asked them to clean it on the outside with a towel for the exterior shot so the car looked good. And that shouldn't be necessary for me to tell the brand to give me a clean car to present on video. That should be quite obvious. But okay, with that out of the way, this is a small car. I mean, it's less than 4.4 meters long. The wheelbase is like 2.6 meters long. And that's shown in the rear seat because you don't have massive amounts of knee room, but it is impressive for such a small vehicle. I'm sat behind myself. I'm 5'11" or 180 centimeters. And though there's not massive amounts of knee room here, it is spacious enough. And also because this is more of a traditional SUV in its form factor, the bench here is a nice height off the floor. I have a nice, under thigh support, a nice angle here where I'm sitting, and also plenty of room for my feet underneath the seat. Though there's a strange lip here where my feet rest on if I want to slide them over, under the front seat. And also plenty of headroom. Also width-wise, it is pretty decent. You have an armrest here with dual cup holders. Yeah, this rear seat for this class of vehicle is more than good enough. Yeah, not the best idea for me to put on some white pants with this weather and also a lot of mud here. The hotel here is completely new, opened 2 months ago. I mean, the rate of development and construction here in China is crazy. I was here in this location like 4 months ago and none of this existed, so it is very impressive. But I digress as I sit in the trunk here, which is 480 liters, a nice size for this type of vehicle. But I want to ask you guys a small favor, which is completely free and takes you 2 seconds, and that is subscribing to the channel. It would really mean the world to me for your support, because the more subscribers I have here on the channel, the more car launches, test drives, and premieres I will get invited to, like this trip to Wuhu in China. So supporting me means supporting the channel and means better content for you guys in the future, because more than 80% of you aren't subscribed. So I would really appreciate if you're a new viewer, if you've been watching the content for a long time, or if you just like what you see and EVs, to subscribe to the channel. So thank you very much for all the support. Now with that being said, let's continue this review of this Jaecoo. Okay, so we are now on the road on the streets of Wuhu to test out how this Jaecoo J5 is to drive. So I've been through some of the settings to turn off lane keep assist, speed limit warning, stuff like that, but there doesn't seem to be a setting for one pedal drive. The cars in the UK may have that. I'm not sure. This is a Chinese spec car, of course, because we are in China, but I couldn't find it. It does have regen, but I'm not, a fan of the calibration, because it coasts and then it starts to break down the car. It doesn't feel very intuitive or very smooth. But okay, we're on the road here, and I do like the seating position. You do sit high. You do feel like you're in a traditional SUV. And also, I mean, body control is actually pretty decent. The roads here in Wuhu aren't the best. They are, very bumpy. The rate of development here in China is insane. So that does, affect the quality on some of the roads where they don't seem to be more than a few years old, but the surfacing isn't the best. There's a lot of bumps. So having a softly set up car in China is important, and the way they do that in a lot of cars is just make them very soft to make them comfortable. This car does seem to actually have pretty decent body control, the motion, and also forwards and backwards. It's not nearly as soft as, for example, the Zeekr X I drove recently, and also the Xlantix ET. Xlantix also a Cherry Group brand. This does seem to be more tuned for European roads. So I actually like the way this drives. The only thing is the tire noise, which is pretty loud in here. We're only going about 50 kilometers an hour, but it does feel very boomy in here. We actually had to stop to check if any of the windows or doors were open, because it was that noisy. Because the asphalt quality is actually pretty decent here, and we've been driving other cars and they have not been that noisy. I've also driven the ES and the ET from Xlantix here in Wuhu. I did that earlier this year. Not a fan of the calibration again of the regen. It just seems to be coasting and then it just bites. It's not very consistent. But other than that, I do like the driving position here. I do like, the view you have out of the greenhouse. You have a very nice and upright driving position. It does feel actually pretty nice. And we have to move into the right lane here, because this left lane does only go to the left. So steering pretty light, but it does feel precise, and it is, you know, it's okay weighted. It's light on center, and it starts weighting up once you know get some steering angle and some weight over the wheels. It's not nothing to complain about. It actually just feels like a normal car, which has not been the case with all Chinese cars. So this is front wheel drive only, battery pack which is a little less than 60 kilowatt hours usable, 211 horsepower, so 0 to 100 kilometers an hour like a little less than 8 seconds. So this isn't a very fast car or a sporty car, but for this use case it is completely fine. So my driving impressions of this, you know, driving here in Woohoo, not bad at all. I actually like it for this type of vehicle. If you want a good electric car with good range that drives good, I don't think this is your best bet. I think you're better off getting something like a Volkswagen ID.3 because objectively, I think that is a better vehicle, a better car. It's going to offer more range in the real world. It's going to be quieter. It's going to have a nicer ride, but it's also going to be smaller and a lot more boring. I think at this price point, I'm not that critical when it comes to ride and handling and interior quality and noise and even range, because what you're getting here is a fun experience. I mean, this is just a cool looking car. It is unapologetically a copy of a Range Rover. I mean, just look at it. But in this spec, this color, I think it just looks cool. And if I were to spend, you know, 27,000 pounds or 32,000 euros, whatever this ends up costing in your market, you know, relatively, it's not that much money for what you're getting, which is, you know, a small electric SUV with a decent size interior and also quite a big trunk. Battery pack here, a little less than 60 kilowatt hours. Yes, your range at a little less than 400 kilometers WLTP isn't the best, but for most people, this is going to be a city car, a round and about car, you know, getting your kids to and back from school, going to the shops. And I think for this price point, even though it's not the most inspiring car to drive, I don't think you can go wrong. So I'm really looking forward to test driving this on Norwegian roads on my normal test route to see how this, you know, compares to other cars. But as it is now, I'm actually pretty excited because this is a fun and decent package for this price point. So guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please drop me a thumbs up down below. And for more car content, as always, please subscribe. See you guys later and goodbye.